Hi, this is Steve Rothery.
I'm Steve Hogarth, and you're watching Morow.com. We're from Marillion.
Skulking away.
Well, it's really all come about as a consequence of a realization on my part that if you don't live in the present moment, you can never be happy. You can't attain any kind of peace of mind at any point in the future. Though I think many people try to project themselves forward. Oh, one day when this happens, I'll be happy, or when that happens, I'll feel like I've arrived, or I'll feel like I've achieved. And the fact is that even if you're lucky enough to achieve a goal at some point down the line, it won't actually make you happy. You'll find that you look back in time to maybe a place where you feel you were happy on the way up, you know. So really the only way you can really achieve any kind of peace of mind or fulfillment is in the present moment, which of course is the only thing that really exists. There's no future. It's an abstract concept in human beings' minds, which I don't think animals or trees have. Only people have this. And the insanity is that if you ruin the present moment with those things, then you're ruining the only real thing with two things that are actually just abstract concepts in your head.
This train is my life.
What I mean by essence is bringing the juice out of everything. You know, I mean, everything has its own essence. You know, there is the ultimate chair, there is the ultimate jacket, there is the ultimate rainy day, you know, there's the ultimate sunny day, and sometimes these things pass us by, and I think it's what I'm really saying is why not try to focus on what living is about, on what joy is, and become aware of the essence of everything. You know, that's what I mean. I'm saying choose life, choose living, go digging for essence. You know, dig for it, look for it, because it's there in everything, and it's there to be celebrated, and it's all a miracle. See, essence is as we realised about halfway into the writing process, a bit like we did with Brave, that we got all of these songs that were fundamentally linked, you know, in terms of the philosophy of them and what they were talking about. So maybe we should at this point do what the band really enjoys doing, which is to link those songs together and to maybe write little musical passages and moments to join the songs together. Sometimes just fasten the songs straight together to one another, sometimes link them with additional pieces of music that we would write. Mike Hunter, the producer, was really up for the idea of creating something that had a flow musically. He's been studying classical music and doing his music degree for the last 2 or 3 years, and I think he's been itching to get his teeth into something a bit more highbrow.
You woke me up, you brought me round, you picked me up when I was down. You said stay clear.
Yeah, it's actually just the original jam we had when we had that idea, and there was a lot of debate within the band about whether or not that should actually be on the record at all, because we felt it didn't sound as polished as everything else, because it was just the original performance, but at the same time it had a great sort of energy that it would be a shame not to use it. So the best compromise we came up with was to have it as like a bonus track. So it's not meant to be judged in the same way as the rest of the record, but it's just something that we thought deserved to be heard. Really.
But not on CD too?
No, we didn't. No, because I think lyrically it's tied more to CD.
It's tied almost exactly to Woke Up. You know, that whole half empty, half full. Woke me up. Woke up in a city full of sleep and full of rain and full of snow and you know, and all of that. So It was a very similar lyric. It was the same lyric for the most part as the song Woke Up. And it was simply a jam in the room, in the studio at the time, but I was trying that same lyric over that jam, and we felt it was really exciting and very free. So it was too good to leave off the album, but then there was I think some members of the band started getting jittery about just putting a jam on.
Guilty as charged.
Was it you?
Yeah.
They started feeling jittery about putting a jam on the record. They thought that, that it would mean a slight loss of quality overall, loss of craftsmanship.
Well, it's just everything else sounded so great, and by the essence, the nature of what it was. I think the great thing about that is that it gives people insight into our creative process. You can hear the band trying different things as we go along, and how the idea kind of twists and turns and evolves. I think it's interesting just from that point of view. So yeah, I think it's good to have it on there, but I think what we did was probably the best compromise given the circumstances.
It'll be interesting to see how many people we meet on the road who say it's their favourite song on the record, That always happens.
There will be someone. Yeah.
Get out of here, get out while you can.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that about any producer with any record they make, really. You sort of said that about Dave Egan with Marbles. But yeah, I mean, he's had a big influence, both in terms of helping us with arrangements and musical contribution as well.
These guys, they take on this thing, this project, and really, although it's our album, they become solely responsible for its birth. And so it is a massive responsibility and a massive amount of work. And once the songs are arranged, which in its own way is a huge responsibility, the producer usually sits in the studio with us and makes suggestions about how we can, let's take this piece of music, stick it in there, move it up a tone, down a tone, a semitone, see if we can get this thing to flow. It's probably my least favourite part of the process because I just find it tedious. But it's his favourite part of the process. He loves the process of actually building the songs up. And then once we get into recording and overdubbing, then the producer is just there all the time. It's his problem. And the band members tend to come and go. So I'll go in, I'll sing for a bit, and then I'll clear off, and Steve might come in and play some guitar, and then Mark might come in and play some keyboards. So the band are coming and going for months and months and months, whereas the producer is there all the time, and so it is a massive amount of work. And they usually end up in hospital by the end of it. I'm not joking. I mean, it really, if you look at any record producer, by the end of the record he's made, he's usually in very, very poor shape physically and mentally.
Apart from Chris Neal, of course.
Well, Chris Neal looks slightly better. Yeah, so it's a massive job of work, and to answer your question, as Steve said, any producer becomes the sixth member of the band while that album is being made, and I think it's extremely likely that we'll work with Mike again. We really enjoy the process of working with him. He's a very light-hearted guy, he's very funny, and you need that sometimes when you're songwriting. It's such an intense process, and it's so easy to get pissed off at yourself or at someone else and frustrated, that to have someone constantly lightening the atmosphere is absolutely crucial if you're to get the best out of yourself.